So my name is Shannon Hales Eaton, and my connection to Weathersfield is that I have been here since sixth grade, Emerson Williams Elementary School. That is my connection to Weathersfield, and I have been here ever since. Okay, so Black History Month means to me personally what we as a people have gone through from early times to current and probably even future history that has not even happened yet. But our history is actually very unique because unfortunately to this day in 2026, folks still have no idea of all of the different things that we have done, our inventions, things that we continue to go through, whether in the workforce, whether at schools. Hair is a huge big culture. It's a part of our culture. It's what makes part of us up. Um, and it's different. And I don't, it sounds cliche, but it is different because it's not something that, everyone can speak to or identify with. So for me, why it's very personal in addition to is that I have a mini me. I have a 12-year-old daughter who identifies as African American, but also Jamaican from her father's roots. Um, she knows nothing but Weathersfield. So when she then, if we go places that are not a part of what we would consider like the suburbs, if we go into the city or, certain areas, she instantly can tell the difference. But I want her to be able to differentiate the differences, not necessarily look at them as good and bad, um, but I need for her to understand that there's going to be certain things in life that she's going to go through as a black child. I'm just going to say as a black child, than any other nationality would have to go through. And I need to prepare her for some of these things. She will have to experience some things probably on her own, even without me, but it starts now. It starts in the home, gearing her up. And if I have, future children, it will be the same thing because the world is not kind. And it hasn't been, right? As we see through history, it hasn't been kind. For those of us who have more melanin in our skin, we're deemed a certain way, whether it's true, whether it's not true, whether there are certain things that may have, been told about us before you actually have a conversation and speak to us one on one. All it is speculation and based on what you may have seen or what you may have heard. So for me, it's very much so I want for us to create our own narrative. You know what I mean? Not based off of what somebody else has said or done because it's for us. My personal story, so let's go back to the fact that I started the school systems here for sixth grade. Now, prior to that, I was in the city of Hartford. Completely a whole different, when I say culture shock to this day, to this day, I'm still like, oh my God, how did I get through that? But the point of it is, imagine if you are in elementary school and you're in sixth grade, that's the last grade before you start, middle school. I was the only African American female out of three sixth grade classes. Talking about pressure because I cannot identify with anyone. I don't know who to talk to, who to vent to, who to cry. And it's not that somebody made me feel bad. It was more internal because I wasn't used to that. And so change is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. All I really had was my mom, my grandmother, to really shed light on how I was really feeling. No teachers could like really like pull me to the side. What were they gonna say? You know what I mean? What were they going to be able to tell me to, console me? Nothing. So it kind of took me some time to try to fit in per se. Um, and that, over time I did. I adapted to my environment. Um, but that sticks, with me even to this day because take now my mini me. She went to Emerson, same school as me. She now is seventh grade middle school. But even when I think to how many black girls or even boys were in her sixth grade class, and she started from kindergarten. From kindergarten all the way up through six, you might have gotten a sprinkle more, right, of us, but it still wasn't enough to really make the difference. But she, because that's all she knew, that was a benefit to her. So she fell right in. But see now, even that she's in the middle school, she comes home and she tells me, oh, I'm meeting more people, that looks like me, that I can identify with, and it warms my heart because it's nothing to feel like isolated or alone. Another thing too is it took for, unfortunately, George Floyd incident to happen in 2020 to see that there was a social justice committee that was started. Um, Speeding up to current, I am currently involved in the BIPOC Affinity Parents Group, which stands for Black and Indigenous People of Color. That has never happened. None of these things have ever happened. BSU, Black Student Union, which is what the youth up at the high school are doing. I haven't really heard much about it at the middle school level. I'm hoping, we can get something going there because I feel like for our youth, they need to know that they have a voice. They need to know that, people are willing to hear them and accept them for who they are. There's a lot that goes into it, even with hair. I always say that, hair is a part of our identity and others don't realize it. And so sometimes, here we go with boundaries. Some people, oh, can I see your hair? Can I touch your hair? And I wish that they wouldn't do that because ask permission. That's something that, it's something that we take serious. So there's so many different components, so many different layers and levels to this Black history that we live through and endure daily. So representation and inclusion to me literally is everyone from all walks of life, no matter skin color, no matter race, no matter their abilities or if they have challenges or disabilities, intellectually, physical, it's literally counting everyone, young, old, in between, um, and not excluding them because of. I think what we're doing now, right? Like I always say, we've made strides, but we have heck of a long way more to go. It really is having more conversations like this. I think they had something called maybe a human library. I could be mixing up the words, forgive me, but I feel that something like that is crucial and detrimental to a town because realistically speaking, it's a predominantly white town, right? So if you don't know culture, if you don't have someone that you can talk to, have these candid, courageous, sometimes uncomfortable conversations, you're really not going to know. So I'm a very firm believer of, each one teach one. Have a conversation, start there, ask the questions. I don't feel like, there's no right or wrong question. There's no dumb question. I mean, ignorance is bliss, but ask anyway. Sometimes I always hear a lot of people say, we're afraid to ask. You got to have, I guess, start with someone who would be willing, right? Because that's what it really is all about, is teaching and learning. And I think that you have to have people who want to. That's kind of where it starts. So you can't force anything. But if you have the right set of people that want to hear it, right, who want to educate themselves, who want to get real life accounts, you have to have these conversations, whether it's open forum, whether it's, doing the human library, whether it's interviews, whether like a question answer, even if you want to, I don't know, you can put questions down on a piece of paper, have somebody give their experience, and then, but all across. So not only just within the school systems, because that's huge, but within the community itself, the library, there's so many different resources. And I think once you know what those resources are and you know who good point person or people are, then you can help navigate through how do we actually map this out. So if other towns had, PEP, like even PEP and BIPOC, we've been partnering up. We have our BIPOC fair, which is actually going to be April 30th. So it's a Thursday. The flyer should be probably coming out in the next couple weeks. That's a big one. It's been a huge hit every single year for the past couple years because there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of rich culture that you see, whether between food and businesses and the hair. There's so much rich culture that's in it. You just got to get that ball rolling. You got to get the ball rolling. If you see if you see me and you know who I am or you know who my daughter is, because she's also a busybody as well, you would know. You would definitely know, like, we're very welcoming. We stand for, what's right. We love to get the truth out there. Have a conversation with us. Pull us to the side. We can exchange, contact information. We can have these conversations. I don't mind, clearly, right? I don't mind speaking. I don't mind, giving my viewpoint on certain things. But sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. Take that step. Take the first step. In in my mind anyway, my mind is that between BIPOC parents group as well as BIPOC affinity, so that the staff within the school system, that we can continue to collab, but that we can also create allies within the communities, here at the town hall level, of course the library, of course other parents of our kids they're going to school together. What better way than for parents to also get together and collab and figure out, okay, what else more do we need? Maybe it's even discussing what curriculum looks like in the school system, right? Because of course they have to follow certain guidelines, and we're not trying to take away from that. We're just trying to add to that. Another quick tidbit, and it was kind of around the George Floyd, so maybe between 2019, 2020, my daughter had her multicultural fair at Emerson. We got to bring those kind of things back. Like, I know that COVID came and it messed up the way in which how we do things, but I think nights like that are amazing because it captures that. And I'm not gonna just say just specifically Black history. I mean everybody's history. Everybody has a voice. Everybody's coming from somewhere. They have a story to tell. I think if we have more community engagements, more events, more willing people, more candid conversations, if we could get some of these, either guest speakers coming in, Black History Month, it bothers me that coming from Hartford, remember, prior to coming here, every Black History Month, every day, over the announcements, we would literally just read out an excerpt, a blurb of what Black history meant, the culture, the inventions, the abolitionists, the educators, just to say and remind to our kids, hey, your ancestors, they did A, B, and C. They sacrificed, they did this, just to get it ingrained in their head. Like, every day, yes, is history, but specifically because Black history is in February, to me anyway, it just makes sense to have that put out there. And I mean beyond the Martin Luther King, beyond the Rosa Parks, there are so many people that we should be paying homage to. And I'm not going to discredit what neither of them have done, but there's so much more that there's voices that have not been heard and or silenced. That's the other thing. So I just feel like if we could even work with the school systems, educators, and talk and say, hey, we should probably do a little bit more, especially during Black history. I know I'm going to assume, it's been a while since I've been in school, I'm going to assume that there's announcements and things that are made. We could start there, as small as that. We could bring back the book reports, things like that, where it makes you have to go and search for what this research is regarding said culture or whatever it is. Bring back those things. I mean, even with the multicultural fairs, if you have people who are willing to write, a poem, or they want to sing and dance, or whatever it may be, because it's there. I myself belong to, and my daughter as well, my mini, we belong to a group called Mudcloth Mentorship Society. You can find us on Facebook. We did also perform at the BIPOC Fair last year. And pretty much it's an African dance and drumming group, and we all come together because we love it. We love it for the culture. We love it for each other. We have mini-me's that are involved all the way up. We have elders as well. We have different community events that we do. And it's very fun, and you can feel it literally through the beat of that drum. We get out there, we dance, we have our sticks, we do it with our hands. It's that I'm trying to get back to, like as a baseline for everyone, because I feel like those are the impactful moments that everybody's gonna remember.